Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been some time since I've done any new videos, mostly because I've been busy trying to repaint elements or places in my room and my house. Generally, every part of the house. I've been repainting the kitchen, resurfacing floors. It's a mess right now in the house, even the office. It's a lot of overflow in the office right now. So, pardon the mess if you see anything in the background. It's just the ladder and a lot of work. I've been doing it with my brother, trying to keep things as organized as possible, trying to make a mess as much as we can, but doing things around that. Anyway, sorry, I'm gonna get back on track here. So a lot of the things that we've been looking into are new comic books. We want to try to find indie comic books to focus on that are more classic superhero. They have the feel of the heroic tale of a man trying to do good, just trying to save lives and trying to do things that is impossible, but generally just doing good. In doing this, we discovered one particular comic book series a while back. I discussed it in a video recently. It was not that recently, a few months ago actually, I think, about Dizchord. Dizchord is a brand new superhero comic book series. It's been so long since I've really gotten into a classic superhero story, though. And this particular story follows a character named Steven who uses his abilities that can see into the hearts of people and basically using sound waves or using the music in their soul. And then he can also amplify that music so that he can see it clearly and also affect their emotions, either to distract them or to give them peace. The main character, he simply tries to do good, tries to help his community and help his fellow man with his abilities. And he has this heart that just has, for me, it just seems like a heart of gold. He tries to do as much good as possible. He helps stop trafficking and things of that nature. And generally speaking, it has the makings of a great story for superheroes, and it's very family friendly, very wholesome, very wonderfully well written. C.S. Johnson, a new writer that I haven't had a chance to really read her books, but I just now started reading a few of them. Very excellent writing. You should check it out. But this particular comic book is launching pretty soon. Dizchord. You should really check that out too. I'm gonna put a link in the description down below. Also, stay tuned to the end of this video because there will be a small drawing video that basically is just a fan art that I did of the character. And part of my voice right now, I'm a little bit under the weather. Allergies because it's spring. And also I kind of inhaled a lot of sawdust and things of that nature, trying to do repairs throughout the house. Yeah, mask was not that effective. Anyway, when it comes to this particular storyline and the entire comic book series, I'm really hoping that it launches a really powerful series with many follow-ups, and I know that it has the makings of a great one. It really has a good story. It's heartfelt. It just simply, you can tell the writer really wanted to capture a good superhero story that had the elements of things that you would find in like the 90s. I remember growing up, a lot of the comic books I read, like most of them were from the 90s. Either they were from the 90s or even older. My grandfather, he was the first one that got me my first comic book, and then my mother, and then so on. My father, not so much. He tried. He wasn't that into comic books. He was more into sports and things of that nature, and yeah, it wasn't my thing. I like sports, but it's not my passion. It's not something I'm really vested in. Now, mind you, I am into hunting and things of that nature, but anyway, pardon me, I kind of got sidetracked there. So, basically, this whole storyline revolves around the main character, Steven, or his name, Dizchord. And honestly, his personality reminds me of Nightwing and a little bit of Static Shock, but a bit more serious. He has a heart of gold. He just has this personality that I don't know, it's hard to describe. I can't really go into detail about the story because although I received a script that tells the full story, I can't really continue telling you every detail. But I will say this, you're going to enjoy the story. The storyline has, like I said, elements that remind me of things like Gotham and DC Comics, but also has the charm of its environment that is trying to fit the environment that it's set in, and everything revolving around just heroism, vigilantism, of course, but heroism and seeking to do good for the sake of doing good, not for the sake of vengeance and all that nonsense. Now, mind you, it does have some key moments where I didn't like everything about it. I did like, for the most part, I really, actually, no, I can't really describe what was bad about it. It was honestly pretty good. Just generally, I couldn't. It just has. It's very clear they're gonna find more ways to continue telling the story in a way that is. It probably might get darker, it might get lighter. It's hard to say which direction they're going with the story. When it comes to this particular comic book, it's one of those things where you have to read it to really determine what you feel the story, what direction you feel the story is going to go. And then obviously, you have to, you have to understand, you have to formulate your own logic, your own mindset as to how this whole story will play out. But also read it for what it is. And while it's one of the things I love about indie comic books is that because of the fact that it's not set in any established lore, any established universe, you get to really figure things out in your own head, and then when it comes out, you get to get fully immersed in the writer's storytelling, and really get to understand the character based on how the story goes. Whereas with DC, everyone understands. They have a clear DC or Marvel, any comic book that is established lore or that has previously established history. You can't really fully capture. You can't really, like, no one ever really has the same vision. Every writer is different when it comes to their lore, and many comic books these days, they like to glorify the villains and they like to demonize the heroes as though whatever is good is evil, and whatever is evil is good, as it says in scripture. But anyway, I'm hopeful that this comic book is going to do well, and I can't wait to see what all C.S. Johnson will continue to release. And the art style, that's the other thing I want to talk about. The art style behind this comic book is one that I deeply enjoy because of the fact that it has the details that you would find in any 90s style comic book, but it's not overbearing, over the top, great artwork. It has just the right amount of detail where it doesn't overshadow the writing. And I remember one time I saw this comic book, the writing was subpar, and then you have this amazing artwork. It was actually in DC Comics. It was a Superman comic book. I can't remember which issue. I think it was issue like 39 within New 52. I can't remember which Action Comics maybe. It's been such a long time. And when I was reading that particular comic book, it was like the writing was it was ridiculously cheesy. And I don't like being critical of comic books in general because of the fact that they're mostly just for entertainment. But when the comic book tries to demonize heroism or make it seem as though the hero is the bad guy because they're saving lives, because they are doing good, but because it's not being done the way that the civilian wants it done, or the way the military wants it done. And then not only that, but whenever the people who promote the comic books demonize the main character himself, it kind of ruins the whole storyline. And a lot of comic books have gone this direction of demonizing whatever is good. And honestly, when I think about comic books, I like to think about whatever is good, whatever is truthful, whatever is honest and noble and just, whatever speaks life and not death, whatever is of good report. And so naturally, because this comic book is of good report, I want to say you should check it out. Anyway, if you watched it this far, if you watched the video this far, then here's the drawing video. Take care. God bless.